So, hello and welcome. My name is James Follent, and I am joined by Rama on our second episode of Kitchen Conversations today. And
Yeah.
today we will be discussing what the future of online retail holds. We both work in retail and we're seeing things change, and we've started thinking about what the future look like. Any thoughts, Rama?
Yes. Well, yeah, correct. We do both in work in retail, but we work in travel retail, so we are hit even harder
Yeah.
by this current pandemic. So and what I've seen so far is the upward trends of online retail, because at the moment, because a lot of it is forced by the current situation, means
Yeah.
that we can't go out and go and shop, and as you probably can see, we go to any shopping center in Australia at the moment, majority of the non-essential stores are probably closed. If you're non-food, non-grocery, and unless you're a big chain like a Target or a Kmart or a Big W, you're probably not you're not open. If you're a clothing store, you're not open.
Yeah.
If you're a shoe store, you're probably not open. And but just because we're in a pandemic does not mean that consumer appetite decreases. People still want to consume. People still want to buy clothes and buy shoes and stuff. And I think that's why there's a big increase in online retailing. And I believe that this will just continue once even the main brick and mortar store are open. I think just forcing people to buy online now. A lot of people are being forced to buy online now,
Yeah.
where they probably would never do it before because they would just go to the shop and
Yeah.
they're just used to it. Maybe a lot of the older demographic are just now learning online shopping and figuring out how easy it is. Potentially means that even when we do reopen our shops, you'll probably still continue. People will just continue to shop online for convenience, for choice, and also just for the sheer fact that they've been doing it for the last couple of weeks,
Yeah.
and being more comfortable with it.
Yeah, and having a forced change in consumer behavior, we'll find out soon after things start returning to normal and restrictions start easing, where people are at, and if they continue on in the behaviors that they've started getting used to now. So I'll be really interested to see if there's a strong shift to people buying things online, an uptake in any subscription services for delivery. Will Woolworths and Coles see increased online deliveries in the future? Companies like HelloFresh, where it's meal delivery to your door.
Yep. And also it will be helped by the fact that if the borders are open and travel is resumed, means then logistics also be helped. At the moment, yes, a lot of people are going to be shopping online, but at the same time, the logistics companies are being hampered by the lack of flights and the closed borders at the moment. So potentially, if people are, especially the people that have never shopped online before and started shopping online now, and their experience, what they're currently getting is satisfactory. Let's just say the experience that they'll be getting once things are sort of back to normal will be even better, and which means then it'll even push them towards more towards the online retailing once they can get their 2-day shipping back to it, or even the next day shipping. I mean, a lot of the companies now offer next day. Australia Post offer next day, and although the service is probably not up to par at the moment, it'll be there, and soon enough the big guys like Amazon and I don't know what other big retailers online retailers really is, but let's just say someone like Amazon would probably be able to do next day shipping in Australia.
Yeah, it'll be really exciting to see that when that happens, because that'll be a step forward in customer service and will place Amazon with a strong competitive advantage in Australia, which is still figuring out with how large we are as a country.
I think that's the reason why they haven't offered any of that service in Australia. They do 2-day shipping here, or they don't even say 2-day shipping, but they'll say arrive on or before. There's no guarantee. I don't think I'm pretty sure in their terms and conditions you can't really go get them if you don't delivery arrives 3 days later. Even if you're on Prime, it's very different in the US, where they do have the infrastructure and I guess the market share and also just the market size. They got 500 million people over there, which means that they probably could put warehouses in all the major hubs and be very certain that they can get things there next day or even same day. I think they do even have same day service over there for some items.
It's incredible to think about.
Yeah, it's very difficult here, being that even when they do get to that point, they probably only offer it to metropolitan, so the big cities, Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, Perth, and Brisbane, and they probably would not be able to offer that for regional areas. And we have a lot here. I mean, yes, America is very large, but at the same time, it is very dense. We are very large, but very, very, not dense at all. For those, I mean, I'm assuming a lot of our audience are Australian. But if you're not and you're wondering, Australia only has about 27 million people.
Roughly that. And most of them live on the East Coast.
Yes, and we have probably a landmass that, matches, a good part of Europe, you know what I mean? So you can imagine 27 million people. Yeah, it's not small, but it's not big. But I guess what Australia has going for it in terms of e-commerce is our disposable income. Australia has one of the highest disposable income in the world. Yes, there's very little people, but we all have money to spend. So it's doing my research on e-commerce over the last couple of weeks. Australia is considered one of the big four. When it comes to e-commerce, so it's amazing that we are there. Although we have only got 27 million people. And out of that 27 million people, only I don't know what the percentage is that do have disposable income. But those that do, have enough to be able to spend.
I'll be really interested to see over the next 3 to 12 months what happens with consumer spending, if people are much more conservative and focus on buying what they need in terms of food and groceries, or if they're willing to go out and buy things, or do they start putting purchases off? Do they start delaying things that are wants to focus on their needs?
Yes, that's a very good point you raised there, Jimmy. The fact that we have a very high unemployment rate at the moment means that yes, there are probably going to be a group of people who are now a lot more conscious about spending. But at the same time, we got one of the best welfare system in the world, as you know. If you don't know, we do. Just as an example, during this pandemic, the government has sort of did two social kind of support. One being, they call it a job seeker. So if you don't have a job, you're unemployed, they usually give you $550 per fortnight. But now they've doubled that up during this pandemic. So you're receiving $1,100. And for those that are still employed, or for those companies who want to keep their employees, the government are giving away $750 a week or $1,500 a fortnight. You can imagine that is probably not the case in a lot of other countries. So I think when things go back to normal, when when people start hiring again and people start going back into jobs, I believe that people will just go back to to their normal habit. It's very difficult to change. I think unless they've committed themselves to go and change their habit, they're probably just gonna once their economy and once their individual economy situation go back to normal, I think they will just go back to normal. Unfortunately, it is what it is. And I'd say probably a good thing for businesses. It's probably a good thing for the economy as well, being that we do need people to spend money for the economy.
What do you think of the idea that brick and mortar stores will start closing shops down to focus on e-commerce and online retail?
I think we've already seen it. We've already seen a lot of it, actually. I think if you look at pre-coronavirus, we saw a large number of Australian retailer shut their door. I think you probably saw that. That just the yeah, just massive amounts that are failing. And a lot of these businesses, I mean, their brand might have shut their door, but a lot of them probably will continue to trade online, or are acquired by businesses that do have an online presence and just continue to use that brand recognition
Yeah.
To go online. I would say probably I don't know. I'm not an economist, so I'm not a
Yeah.
retail expert, but from my opinion, they'll probably close. They probably start closing non performing stores.
Yeah.
But I'd say they probably leave the key stores in places just for presence. I'd say
Yeah.
just for
For brand
presence and
recognition.
just for brand recognition. Yeah, But I'd say that I don't know. It'd be interesting, isn't it? I mean, it's kind of like this situation where if a lot of companies then close their retail store, it kind of then means that you got a lot of vacant storefronts,
Mm.
which potentially means that they might drive the big boys like Westfield to reduce the rent,
Yeah.
and potentially then
Find
attract
demand.
new businesses
Yeah.
to go and open stores again. So it's a very interesting situation. I don't know what it is. I don't have a definite answer, but
Because it's like the story of the phoenix. Businesses will rise from the ashes in adversity and out of unusual circumstances. So if there's new spaces with cheaper rent that are available, people might be able to afford to enter into new markets, lower barriers to entry, which could be
yes.
exciting to see a little bit of disruption amongst traditional retailers that we're all familiar with.
Correct. And I think there is a bit of you know, there's a bit of movement towards more boutique, more smaller, sort of help your smaller businesses and all that kind of situation. Plus, at the same time, a lot of these small businesses can do things like be more sustainable focus, or focus on welfare of their suppliers and welfare of the workers that they acquire from a product from,
Yeah.
where a lot of the big guys are more focused on margins and profits. So potentially, if that's the case, then you're going to get a lot of these guys who are going to come out, open stores, and really push that sustainability, what do you call it, like that kind of situation, right? And really use that platform. So well, we are sustainable. We ensure the welfare of all our factory, and all our
Workers.
garments, all our clothes are only supplied from ethical suppliers and things like that. Where a lot of the big guys probably can't really use that because they've been so used to buying clothing for 20 cents, 30 cents from places like Bangladesh and China, where a lot of these guys then can come out and actually, because it's funny, doing the right thing, somebody doing the right thing, or when you feel like you are doing the right thing, where you are buying ethical, you are buying sustainable, kind of release the same euphoria or dopamine in your brain, that make you feel good, right? So and that is sometimes valued a lot higher than the price tag, where you can probably buy the same thing cheaper in someone like a Kmart for $10. Someone else charges $20, but it's it's tagged with sustainable, ethical, yada yada yada.
You know the quality of what you're purchasing, and you believe
Yeah,
in
like
it.
and you just feel good because you feel like, all right, you know what, I'm actually supporting a small business. One, I'm making sure that I'm buying from ethical suppliers, and the material that they're using is not going to harm the environment. So it's kind of like, sometimes in a place like us where we do have that kind of disposable income, you want that feel good experience on top of the feel good experience of buying something new. It's kind of like a stacked stacked effect. I don't know.
And it starts to point to the power of stories in differentiating products
Yes,
and brands. If you can
correct.
buy a set of denim jeans and you're helping someone get employment on the other side of the world at a living wage that helps benefit their education, their children, their community, and you can put a name to that person and their story and where they've come from and how they've arrived at that spot, it helps build a connection to a brand in ways that we haven't been able to do previously. And it's something the internet helps equip. that we can do with online retail. We can get closer proximity to places around the world to hear other people's stories and share them as brands.
Exactly. And I think there's a power of online retail as well. It means your reach is not limited to your geography. So where a lot of the traditional retail means that you got to put stores in many places for people to see. Where in online, as long as you got the right marketing, you got you're doing the right marketing, you're reaching a wider audience. You're not limited to that geographic limitation that traditional retail is in. So you can imagine, and everything is helping that situation at the moment, isn't it? Just the advancement in logistics, the advancement in technology in terms of automation, to help you with being able to do a lot of that. A lot of that manual process that used to take a lot of time, cost a lot of money, a lot of man hours. Now there's a lot of automation in place that can, even a small business can take advantage of some of the stuff that only big businesses can afford in the past. So it's amazing. And Amazon is now in Australia and quite prominent, means then they're starting to offer very, very good what they call fulfilled by Amazon services. So even small business can get into that, where in the past that they're only probably be available to larger or somebody with a bit more capital, right? Now that small business can probably get into that if you can find a good supplier, and you can, and you're not limited to Australia. Even if you are based here, you find a good supplier that has the right, like you said, the right story, the right the right good feel behind it. Be able to source the product for the right amount of money, and then be able to market it correctly, and then you just give it to Amazon to then fulfill. Oh God, like you basically have a proper, it's like a proper what do you call it, supply chain management in place already.
And Amazon gives you an operational backbone to help get products to people.
Exactly. And it's not the only way. I mean, you can also go out by yourself and have your own online store. And then take advantage of like a 3PL, right? Like a third party logistics, or get somebody else to warehouse your stuff and ship it for you. That's all available as well. Like I said, everything, literally all the things that you need to succeed in online shopping is there at the moment. Which I think kind of segue nicely into something that I want to discuss, which is probably, so if that's if now is a good time to do it, so what starts doing it? What then happens to so I guess to the environment, to the e-commerce environment? What's your thought on that?
It'll go in some interesting directions if people have a product that seems very much of a muchness and very similar to other items. People will start competing over price and the lowest price. It'll be a race to the bottom. Be good for consumers because they get good value for their dollar. But there'll be also opportunities for brands to tell stories, differentiate, share their products, and say why they are different and why they are able to deliver value in a different way to anyone that they're competing with in the marketplace, and build followings and engage with customers in ways like never before. Consumers have a louder voice with things like social media. They can hop on, make comments on brands' pages, share with them their feedback very directly, which helps bring a lot of positive, if people are willing to write positive comments, or very quick and clear negative comments about what people can like. So brands are able to learn very quickly how the customer experience has been for people.
Yeah, I mean, it's surprising, isn't it? Like you don't see a lot of traditional retailers taking advantage of that of that opportunity at the moment. I mean, like I don't know, personally myself, I don't really see the big guys really using unless, I mean, we're not talking about Amazon, who's already on online space, but we're talking about like the traditional retailer like the Myer and the JB Hi-Fi, and what I mean, like they don't, I guess it's a bit hard because they don't really own their own brand. But even someone like Kogan, who they don't really use social media or influencer or anything like that at the moment. Which is very strange. I think they're in the right place for it. Even someone like Kmart, or someone like Target probably could, because they do have their own in-house brand. Because someone like JB Hi-Fi, I guess it's difficult because they're selling other people's products and they rely on those brands to do their own marketing.
Yeah,
and they're just there to kind of house the inventory, right? Be a brick and mortar for those brands. But yeah, someone who owns their own brand, I'm surprised they don't do a lot more of the like I said, someone like a even like a, I don't know, I guess Myer is in the same situation, but someone like a Kmart or a Target.
Yeah, they have their own products. And I remember the campaign from Target when they tried to position themselves slightly different to sound more fancy and appeal to value for dollars spent. That instead of shopping at Target, mate, you're shopping at Target.
Just sound what? French?
Sounds more French, boutique fashion. The connotations things start to evoke for a consumer is something really interesting.
That's funny.
Like I remember, I think the interesting example of, I like coffee. So when I go to buy coffee, if it's named small, medium, and large versus regular, large, and extra large, how does that change my purchasing decision? Do I want to feel like I'm getting the middle one, or does large or an extra large sound too big, so I steer towards regular? The changing language might help drive sales for customers up a little bit, just with the way you talk about your product and share about your product with people.
Yeah, I think we're doing the same thing in WH Smith at the moment, or in our cafe business, where I think we've changed our labeling of small, medium, large to regular, large, and extra large, I think. So kind of then people will go, I want large, but you're just telling them to buy medium. And I don't know. I look, without the numbers in front of me, I don't know which size is the most, has the highest margin. But I believe there definitely is a way to change people's perception just by the labeling. That's why Starbucks don't use those words. Starbucks uses large. I think they use large, grande, and venti.
Yeah,
it's very annoying.
Which makes it really interesting when you order a Starbucks. It sounds like you're talking about Ariana Grande or something.
No, it's just I get very annoyed because when I go there, I just give me the small one. They say we don't have a small, we got a large, or a grande or a venti. I think is how they say it. I think it's a regular grande. What are those anyway?
Yeah,
they've got more, I guess, because maybe it's the least profitable.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That helps paint a picture of when labeling your product in sizes confuses people. We're not sure how big it'll be, and we can't recall it. It shows how often we shop at Starbucks and how much of an impact it's left on us for being like, oh, this one's different. It's different in some way, and we've got to refigure it out each time we walk through the door about what size we actually want.
Yeah, fair enough. No, it's very strange, isn't it? It's also about perception at this point. But that's a really interesting situation, I guess. I think that's what I mean, isn't it? It's all about perception. You can sell the same product as the next store, but it's all about how do you market yourself? What is your market position like? Because two shops can sell a cappuccino, but one will charge you $3, one charge you $3.50. But I'm pretty sure, depending on what you're trying to target, I think some people will definitely look at the $3.50 as it's a better offering. It's more expensive.
Yeah.
Or I rather go for the $3 because it's more value. But what are you targeting here? You're targeting the coffee snob. It's probably going to go for the $3.50 because they think the price equals value. Price equals quality. Or are you targeting the guys who are very savvy and don't really see the difference in 50 cents because they're not they don't really taste that difference in coffee, because there's people who
happy with the $1 from 7-Eleven.
Exactly.
kind of.
I'm pretty sure if your goal is just need a quick pick me up, then I guess
Yeah.
$1 from 7-Eleven might do the job, you know. But if you're the person who goes, you know, I'm really particular on my coffee. I only want a certain type of bean. You know, they need to use a particular brand of bean. You know, they need to use a what was the green one, Jimmy? That people always like. What was the one? Yeah, the one that we
Campos coffee.
Campos. That's it, Campos, the green one.
Yeah.
So I mean, so there's people out there who go, they all only buy Campos because they taste different. But I don't know, it depends. It depends on the person. That's what I mean. I think it's important to target your target market, right? It's important to market yourself to the right audience that you want to capture. There's no point trying to target a different audience if that's not your main demographic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're just going to be wasting marketing dollar.
Yeah.
And
even with the coffee example, you can go a different road and go down barista banter. The conversation you have though with the barista and the banter that you have with them as you go get your coffee can be part of a experience that is beyond the amount of money that you're paying.
Right.
I remember when we used to be in Mascot, the cafe downstairs, we were very polite with each other. When I ordered my coffee, we'd say please and thank you multiple times, and it always seemed like a situational comedy, going back and forth. I'm saying please, they're saying thank you, I'm saying thank you for being thankful, and then having that routine every day as a humorous thing to be part of.
I think, I mean, I think that there's a lot of other factors beyond just price and quality of the product. I mean, you're right. I mean, when we were in Mascot, we had a cafe downstairs in the building, so convenient. When you get out the lift, you're there. But then we know a lot of a big proportion of the people in our office walk down the street to another cafe called the Naked Duck.
Yeah.
And buy coffee there. And it's, I guess, like I said, there's a lot of other factors. Sometimes we do it because we just want to take a walk, bit of fresh air.
Yeah.
And look, I mean, I'm not a coffee person, so I can't say that the coffee was better.
Yeah.
You know, it all depends on the barista, I suppose. Sometimes, I think to me, as long as it's made properly, I think all beans kind of taste the same. I'm not that. I don't have that kind of palate to tell the difference. But yeah, I think there's other factors. Like I said, we like to go down there, and sometimes it's the environment, right? I mean, the Naked Duck was set up a lot nicer than the Orexia Cafe downstairs. It's also got better food offering beyond the coffee, which.
And personally, for my online retail, I have a coffee subscription where I get coffee beans delivered to my door each month. I don't necessarily know what they are, but it's part of the experience that I get a new type of bean and a new taste sensation, which is part of the appeal for me when I buy coffee.
Well, there you go. I mean, you said you do have an online. Again, that's another new model, isn't it? That's kind of like disrupting, and that model is on the rise at the moment. You know, the HelloFresh, like you mentioned earlier. The kind of artisan bean delivery to your home, and then you make it yourself. But again, you are a particular demographic that they're targeting.
Yeah.
Somebody who actually likes to go and grind the beans and make your own coffee. But there's people out there who's not going to be bothered by that, unfortunately. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna have to put you on mute for a second. So unfortunately, sometime
that's a good place to end the show as we think about online retail. So thank you for joining us for a kitchen conversation today. We'll probably explore e-commerce more in the coming weeks as it's an interest and we have some ideas that are bouncing around behind the scenes. So thank you for joining James and Rama for Kitchen Conversations today, and hope to see you again next week.
Enjoy. And if you have an idea for an intro music or an outro music, feel free to reach out to James.
Yeah. Comment, we'll direct message, contact me via snail mail, whatever you choose. Get creative. Have a good week, guys.
See you guys. Have a good weekend.
Bye.